Welcome to AU Library Study Room Reservations, Procedural Analysis, Instructional Intervention, and Project Evaluation. This is a video review of my final project for assessment and evaluation in technology-rich classrooms. Prior to the start of the fall term, Ashland University Library began investigating platforms to transition our paper study room reservation system online. LibCal from SpringShare was selected. The Spaces module will integrate seamlessly with other SpringShare platforms currently being used to provide services and resources to library users. A one-month review of the booking data revealed several questions about platform use. Students were making reservations, but there was a concern regarding a 46% cancellation rate. Most of these were a result of system cancellations and cancellations for no-shows or non-check-in. After exploring different needs analysis options, the decision was made to conduct a procedural analysis to evaluate the steps needed to complete the reservation process. The terminal goal was for students to use the online reservation system to book a study room in accordance with procedures outlined on the site. Criteria for a successful reservation includes using the online system to select an available room and time, arrival at the required library study room at a scheduled time, check in within 15 minutes of arrival, and check out at a scheduled time. Completion of the follow-up email survey is requested but not required. The procedural analysis followed was identified in task analysis methods for instructional design. One of the initial steps was to develop a flowchart for the task at hand. Tools and procedures used for the analysis included a task worksheet developed for Instructional Resource Center student workers, and library circulation and reserve student workers and staff. Data was collected from both groups and reviewed, and a real-world task example was conducted. The worksheet was comprised of 4 open-ended questions, allowing each student to perform the tasks as they saw fit. Included were finding the library website and moving to the reservation site, detailing the steps for a reservation, checking in and checking out of a study room, and providing additional feedback as needed. I found it interesting that data collected on the procedural analysis worksheets were essentially a microcosm of the initial booking data. Students that followed reservation site directions experienced success. Those who cherry-picked elements missed essential information, resulting in confusion with the procedure. In addition to the worksheets and real-world examples indicating instructions necessary to complete the reservation process, external factors contributed to difficulties, including students being unfamiliar with yet another platform, rapidly changing policy and procedure needed for reserving a study room, and the availability of in-house information. To support the stated goal of students successfully using Ashland University Library's online reservation system to book a study room, a redesign of the platform's user interface was recommended. Elements to be reviewed as part of the redesign process are researching how other academic libraries are using LibCal Spaces, exploring SpringShare's mobile site option for bookings, and training opportunities for the LibCal site administration. This is an easy recommendation to follow as I am the site administrator. Once these are complete, it will be necessary to develop support materials. Instruction Intervention, Redesign User Platform Interface. A selection of 30 college and university LibCal space sites encompassing bookable study rooms, study carrels, and other spaces such as media labs were examined. Of the 30 sites, 15 were institutions located within Ohio, and 15 were institutions located outside of Ohio. For administrator training, I selected tutorial topics such as setting up and customizing space bookings, customizing LibCal system settings, and customizing the look and feel of LibCal. I also attended live training webinars for LibCal setup and design, and LibCal setting up spaces and equipment. Site customization included both system and language customization examined for the mobile pages. Language customization includes changing keywords and phrases, System customization provides options for basic HTML tags, font, spacing, and image selection, and SpringShell Help provided more specific style sheet options, such as changing the button color from SpringShare Blue to Ashland University Purple throughout the site. Phase testing included all site updates managed. These were done in phases because the site remains live, and I had to take care with any changes. There were opportunities for internal testing of the hidden and private pages. And finally, with the marketing support, when all of the changes were in place, marketing materials were updated in-house and online. The intervention resulted in customization and implementation of 3 distinct mobile-friendly pages: AE Library Reserve a Space, the new homepage; AE Library Make a New Reservation, which allows students to personalize study room selection by location and floor and category; and Space Availability. Each page targets a specific reservation procedure task and simplified the overall process. Along with planned site testing, a post-innovation flowchart was developed to review the instructional implementation. Library signage, marketing support for the study room reservation process, was designed and produced in-house using the Instructional Resource Center poster printer. Components of the project evaluation include identifying the targeted audience, collection of data, and analyzing comparative evidence. The study room reservation logic model provided a framework for the evaluation process. As indicated in the model, there were no additional budget constraints beyond the purchase of the Spaces module and library in-kind contributions. The evaluation provides documentation of LibApps data and addresses the impact statements. A closer look at audience and stakeholders identifies university administration that will receive evaluation data, as well as interested stakeholders. Successful user completion of the online study room reservation process was assessed using statistical gathered evidence from LibCal Spaces to evaluate quality, confirmed versus canceled reservations, and quantity, space usage summary of the booking data before and after updated implementation. Analyzing the statistical data, along with question analytics, IRC, circulation, and reference transactions, and survey feedback responses, will factor into determinations made regarding successful site implementation. Analysis of statistics and booking data from before and after the site update reveals the percentage of booking confirmations increased and the percentage of booking cancellations decreased. This is one indication of improved user knowledge of the LibCal Spaces study room reservation process, a stated outcome and impact defined by the logic model. Analysis of reference analytics question data reveals a decrease in the overall number of study room reservation questions asked in the Instructional Resource Center, circulation reserves, and reference. There was a marked decrease in the number of study room reservation questions asked after the site redesign was implemented. To date, only 3 responses have been submitted for surveys, 2 before the update and 1 after. Each responded with agree and strongly agree to all of the questions, and 1 comment response focused on outdated study room accommodations and sparse technology. Anecdotally, while displaying the new library marketing materials, casual conversation with students working in occupied study rooms revealed that none of them had actually reserved the space. Statistical data collected to evaluate the quality and quantity of booking data before and after implementation of the redesign, along with reference analytics and survey feedback, provide evidence supporting the conclusion of a successful project intervention. However, there are recognized limitations to this evaluation. The stated focus is on the procedure used to successfully book a study room using the online reservation system. Data will be analyzed again at the end of the year, perhaps providing a larger picture of potential project success. Still unknown are factors contributing to why students choose not to reserve a study room, why users neglect to check into a reserved space after booking confirmation, and why such a small number of users are willing to provide feedback on the reservation process. As with any project, as soon as it's complete, I think of something I could have or should have done differently. First, I appreciate how many of my classmates presented their reports in a single inclusive document, and I think this structure would have worked well for me. While I took care to use continuing numbers for figures and letters for my appendix, in retrospect, I regret not using a similar format. A Gantt chart was recommended for my procedural analysis timeline. The chart I used worked well for my purposes, but the Gantt chart would have been more visually appealing. And finally, I also wonder if my project would have benefited from the inclusion of a glossary for library terms. Librarians are often guilty of using words and phrases specific to the profession. A glossary would have been appropriate. Finally, thank you for taking time to view my presentation. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions.